Hello. Let's start with the voice. Can you confirm that my sound is working and that my music is not too loud, too quiet, or anything else? Loud and clear. That's good. Okay, then let's jump in. Hello, or good evening, everyone. Not going to do the longest of streams, especially compared to the last ones, because I'm struggling with a bit of hay fever, and I will lose my voice sooner or later. Also, I heard stuff about the Ironclad that I didn't really wanted to hear, and that I can't really quote right now, I think. But something is off with the Direct Defense Con room and everything. And that could mean a lot of things, but I'm just hoping that the Ironclad is not finishing. Well, I hope it's not going to be released in the next few days, because I mean, I want to finish this project because it's a lot of fun. On the other hand, I really want to have that ship, so I guess all I'm saying is maybe I won't put hundreds of hours in this now, but I will if it is not coming out in the next 2.5 weeks. There really isn't much to tell. It's just it's not. There's no, I can't say. I haven't asked if I can share that, but it's nothing concrete. I can give you that. Yeah, I have 2 weeks, but there's other things that I have to do, and other things that I think are more important for Invictus, especially if this comes out. I think there are other projects that you would appreciate more. But nevertheless, this is still super interesting, because right now I just took an hour to try to get the rest of the walls of the hangar done, and everything about it is crooked. Nothing, there's no symmetry. It looks completely symmetrical, but it just isn't. I looked in the images, even in the images you can see. It's weird. I'm not saying I'm wasting my time if it's coming out. I'm just saying. Yeah, what am I saying? I don't know. Yeah, there are other things that would be more interesting at IE. We see. And the symmetry is a bit of a problem for me, because that obviously affects a bit how well the speculation is about ships going inside and stuff like that. Worst case, this might now be off by. Last week we calculated that I'm off by like 30 centimeters. That's perfect. But now, because everything is so uneven, I would say it might be more. Maybe it's off by a meter. That's still good, but I mean, it's not. It's interesting to see what ships fit, but at the end of the day, that might change anyways. They might make it a touch bigger, they might make it a touch smaller. So I think we're in a pretty good ballpark here, and it's just fun looking at how this will look like later. But you can see right here what I mean. I brought in a 32 SU crate, and that is a game model, yeah? That's the perfect size that you have in game. It's exactly 10 meters long. It's the official thing. No holoviewer, no scaling issues. This is as real as it gets. And as you can see, it does not match the size of their crates. They also look different. Maybe, I mean, they have said plenty of times that they want to introduce new, different containers. But they shouldn't be bigger, right? We have a grid, and it has to work with that grid. So, I mean, something is off here. I'm sure it's not the whole thing. I mean, I could place not a mole, what is it called? A mule, and see how well that lines up, but wouldn't be too accurate too, because it's not off by a lot, but something is weird. Yeah, but who cares? That's a few centimeters. I can actually show you what I mean by there's also stuff in the images that is not right. Let me just set up a new scene for you right now. Oh. Apparently I can't stream that software. That's interesting. Okay, but I can share this. So in this image, you can see these two, whatever they are, steel thingies around the hangar door, the ramp. And here pay attention to this funny thing with the circle in the middle, because I found exactly that piece in the holoviewer model. There it is. There's parts missing, obviously, but that is definitely that part. Sorry. Yeah, there. That's the piece. Missing the top here. But now look at this red thing here in the middle. I hope you can see my cursor, otherwise that would be weird. On this side, there's only like a super tiny black gap in between those two. This high piece and this red. And on this side, it's like 3 times that. So something is not in the middle here. Also, this is pretty much ending with this piece. Here it's going a lot further to the left. So something in this hangar is definitely off. Right. You're guessing wrong. My accent is absolutely not German at all. It's as British as it gets. British. Can you build the jail cell so we can put Knight Rider in it? I get the joke, but I'm not sure if we get that far today, because that is on the top level and I have not yet a good alignment for the top level. Even though the jail cell is one of the places in the ship that I'm especially excited for, because it's so unique and uniquely placed too. Oh, there's something else I've done in preparation for this stream. Last week we were looking at different ships, and we were also looking at the assault variant and the difference of the two. there in the back you can see the wall here that basically ends the hangar. And in the assault, yeah, it's there. So this is the part that we lose. But we also learned that there's something different about the ramp, but I can't remember if they never told us what exactly, only that it seemed like only the assault is high or wide enough or whatever to get the tanks in. But please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't think we know what the exact difference for the front here is for the two models. And so I've checked the holoviewer models, but unfortunately they both share the same model. So it's both the base variant. The assault holoviewer model does not have the second turret. It's just the same as the base. What is the new Galaxy video you are working on about? Should I say that now? Sure, I mean, if I should tell anyone, then it's probably you few. I am revisiting the Refinery module a bit, because with the Golem, the Geo, a lot of what I've said back then has changed. I think these two really changed the options you have with the Galaxy. And not going to spoil too much, but I'm trying how many I can put in there and how that could work together. And then I'm also not sure if that will make it in, because it already is quite a long video. But I have also started to do some of the changes. In every video I talked about some things about the Galaxy that I didn't like, that I would like to change, and that I would like to show someday if I ever get to that. And so part is some of the changes that I would make, some corrections. But yeah, if you have any other ideas or questions about the Galaxy, again, it's not too late to drop them in. Maybe I can make some small notes at the end, or some Q&A or something. For the assaults actually on the bottom of the ship will be interesting. The big turret is, but there is also a difference on the top. Here you can see the base variant. If I switch to the assault, you can see a second turret here on top. That is where on the base variant the tractor beam, one of the tractor beams is. Alright, so let's continue. Actually, wait, I have to catch up with chat again. Jump point is out. Okay, unfortunately I'm not subscribed right now. Please let me know if there's something interesting in it, especially for me. Oh, you said turrets on all four corners? I mean, I see two of them, but I don't see four of them there. Let me just check the artwork real quick before I go back to modeling. No, I don't see anything but 4 of those turrets. But then again, there is not much artwork featuring the assault. I mean, oh. There's definitely 4 more guns down here that are not in the other variant. You mean the 4 corners of the front, not... I thought the 4 corners of the hangar, on the top hangar. So yeah, there's 2 more here, but I don't think these are... These are definitely manned. I don't think these are... Oh, development of the golem is actually interesting for me. Small teaser for the Starlands attack. I can wait those few more days. Yeah, I have the PDF here, but I'm not too much into the numbers right now. I was just thinking about where they could be. Okay, let's try to get something. Oh wait, before we get something, I have one more thing to show you. I have separated the front ramp, even though that is not really super helpful because it does currently leave quite a big gap. So something about that will be different in the... obviously the whole thing will be different, but there you can see some misalignment, and then also this thing is not the full length. This will extend, but unlike the Polaris I did last year, I think, the parts that extend are not in here. So this is just, you can't extend these and then from that calculate or guess how big the ramp actually is. So this is all we got, but I thought it's something and it might help us get a feeling how big the actual entrance is. Nah, the stream is completely about distracting. Feel free to distract me. It's my problem that I can't do both at the same time, but that's all good. Okay, now I'll try to get at least a tiny bit done. I'm going to do these catwalks here because I think they are super interesting, but these were the part that troubled me so much before. So yeah, those might not be 100% accurate, but by now I accepted that and it should be fine. And they don't align 100% with the floor because they are more to the outside. That's also fine. It's expected. But they are still, contrary to what we said last week, they are overlapping with the ground a tiny bit, so they are taking away a bit of the landing zone space, I think. Not just like a tiny bit. But they are mostly over these angled areas. So that seems to overlap with the boxes a tiny bit, but not too much. Also, I wanted to check how many boxes this thing might fit, because I don't even know how they are placed. Let's find out. Actually, let's try how many I can fit first and then see how many it officially has. What the reason might be that there's some kind of limitation. I assume it will only go until here. That's what I can read from the bottom, but I mean, it's only a guess, but we'll see. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If I take that line here, and 16 if I ignore it. But now that I'm looking at it, it seems reasonable that this middle area is for cargo and has plates, even though none of these lines here really seem to line up with the boxes that we have there. But let's assume it's 13 and then 13 more on the other side. So that would be... $832 SCU. That is also without stacking a single one. I would assume that we can put at least 2 above each other, but how many does this thing officially have? 1,536 or 1,152 on the assault. So 1,500. $1,536 means, yeah, that means that it's exactly supposed to be 12 on each side. So something like this. So it is probably this here. And then, oops. And then a second row above. Something like something, yeah, totally British, something like this. That's actually pretty much perfectly below the walkway. It's a good sign, I think. It also surprises me a bit, because that means it only gets filled half vertically. Because if I put in the exterior again, that would fit at least another one. Maybe 2 more. Okay, let's try. So yeah, not 2 more. But 1 more would still leave enough room for the mechanism of the whole roof. I mean, I don't know how big the mechanism will be, but let's get our ceiling door in. I mean, it's not a lot of room, to be honest, but I still think you could make it believable even if you had to raise the whole ship by like half a meter or something. But getting in a third row or yeah, a third stack of boxes would actually, I mean, it feels wasteful to have almost a full empty. If it would be like half a meter less or like a meter less, I wouldn't be so annoyed by it now, but this feels... Actually get some textures in. This feels pretty great. And I would say this feels a tiny bit wasteful. Right? I mean, I get that it might be a bit too powerful then. If we did 3 high, then the SCU would be 2304. Actually, it would be... Yeah. Yeah. 2304 SCU. That would bring it... I don't know these numbers by... That would be exactly half of the hull C. I don't know. I think half of the hull C would still be... Or would it? No, actually, maybe that's a bit too much. Just balancing-wise. Balancing-wise, I think these 1500 are good. But design-wise, I would have made it a tiny bit flatter then. Or use the space differently, I don't know. But this just makes me a tiny bit angry now, knowing that it actually would kind of fit. Well, I mean, we shouldn't put too much, or actually I shouldn't put too much thought into that, because maybe they will design this roof with some kind of structures underneath to make it believable, solid, and not solid, but look structurally safe, and that wouldn't be really drag, right? Make it believable. So this obviously is a bit too thin. So maybe in the end it will look fine and all, but right now I'm a bit surprised by the amount of space. But loading wise, obviously you can see how easy that, not easy, but how accessible this will be compared to many other ships. At least in space. From the ground it will be quite terrible, obviously. But in space you can load and unload this pretty nicely. And I think it's also a pretty nice touch that you have the center 3. Because if that would be a lot more space, I would be angry again. But if it would not be close, but if it was completely filled, that would also be annoying. I think this is the perfect width. Because not only because you need the walkway, I think it's pretty annoying in the caterpillar that you can't walk around when that's completely filled up. Also, I think this, like walking around here between these mountains of containers will be pretty cool. Even though, again, a third one would be even cooler. Have you tried putting ships in there? I have done last stream. We tried a bunch of different ships. I'm not going to do all of them again to not bore people. You can always look at the VOD. It's at the end of the last stream. We put in 20 different ships maybe. But if you have one or two, I try that for you, and I can also tell you from my memory that we were able to fit 6 golems in here, but only a single prospector. And otherwise, I think we did not fit in the... Damn it. We were able to fit 2 buccaneers, 2 gladius, maybe 3. That's the most interesting one, as I remember. Only 1 vulture, obviously, because that's massive. And even with that, I was not entirely sure. That already looked pretty. For many of them, the height was a problem. Yeah, we tried. But I think with the vulture, we were not completely sure because I was not, I didn't have the full thing, the full hangar rebuilt. Let's actually try the vulture again, because that is, well, one of the most important ones, I think. But I can already say, like, I think having only 1 in here is kinda useless. It's quite a big ship for, like, a tiny mining, tiny salvaging operation. I think having 3, 4, maybe even 6 golems in here is quite a better fit gameplay-wise. And, like, if you look at the amount of players collecting and the amount of players driving them around and collecting the stuff inside. But let's try to get in the vulture. Actually, which one do I have here? I only have the in-game model. That is pretty, but that might take a second to actually load. Give it a second. How many Furies? Oh, that's a good one. I haven't tested that. Let's do that in a second. We only tried the pulse bikes, and I don't even... It was less than I expected. It was like a little less than 400 of them. That was annoying. But yeah, let's absolutely test some Furies in a second. So there's our beautifully textured, partially missing. Actually, what is this? That's the interior. You're not supposed to be here. Oh no, the whole interior is sticking out. That's annoying. Okay. And also I am missing landing gear. At least, or is it, where is it? Is it, no, it's completely missing, unfortunately. It's not even in there. But let's try to land it. So, from the top, it actually looks pretty close already. This way, these metal pieces will be in the way, so I have to turn it around. And you can see how problematic these pieces will be. I mean, we can... There is more space underneath here, but you will have to fly this in at an angle. You can't just land like this. So I think space-wise it should be fine. But height-wise, I don't actually know how... If I remember correct, this has quite a high landing gear, right? So this will be... would you assume something like this from the ground? Is that too much? This is the ceiling, so that is a problem. That's what we all expected. So I would assume it has to go at least... Oh, there's these little wings too. It has to go at least like this is the most optimistic I can go. And that's... It doesn't leave a lot of room from the floor. And without gear, I mean, that's obviously... We all know what's going to happen. It's going to explode instantly once you move. So actually, I mean, I'm pretty sure they will make this fit, right? It would be completely weird if you can't have this in. Maybe, we don't know that, maybe you can travel and even... No, actually that's unrealistic. Maybe you can travel, quantum travel with the door open. That means no air in this room, but maybe it's possible. I don't think so. I think it will always. Guardians, yeah. Hey, you said the height is at 7.5. Is that the height of the ship or the height of the hangar? Yeah, that would be a bit more in line with what we just said about the boxes, that the top has to be become a bit thicker and get some supporting structure to make it believable. So yeah, I think 7.5 is a good height for the hangar. Thank you very much for that. I didn't have that in my head, and that would mean that... Yeah, this might mean that the Vulture might not fit. It's annoying. It's okay. Did you ever find out what the proper scale for the Corsair was? Jesus. Yes, I found out what the correct scale for the Corsair was. I can't remember the exact numbers I had. Oh, actually I have it here. Last week I said that the Corsair I have is only 46 meters long, but it's supposed to be 55. And Grim confirmed for me that the 46 is the old... that's the old Guardian... not... sorry. That's the old Corsair measurements. And since I have an old holoviewer model, that is why that number was wrong. So it wasn't wrong, it was an older model. The correct size is 55, and at the same time the model I had was at the right scale. Furies. I also hope that they raise the roof a bit, but that would then make it even more unrealistic to have only 2 rows of boxes in here. So maybe this is just not... Again, I think having a Vulture in here is not as cool as it sounds. It's too big of a carrier to have just one single salvager. I think what we would need for this ship is a salvage variant of the Golem, or a different, smaller Drake salvager. I think the Vulture is just not made for this. The Vulture is just gigantic for what it does. Misk Fortune should. Agree. Yeah, we tried that last week too. Actually, let's do that one more time. I don't have the Misk Fortune model, but I assume it's identical with the Prospector, right? Size-wise, at least. Misk Prospector. So much dirt in these. So, size-wise from the top, not a problem. Size-wise, height-wise, this I think is a lot closer to the ground. Again, unfortunately, this does not come with landing gear either, but I think this is pretty close to the floor, and as you can see... Actually, I bring back in my containers. It's higher than the containers, but not much, so... I think with the Misk Fortune you'll have a lot more luck than with the Vulture. I mean, looking at it now, maybe you can even squeeze 2. No, I don't think you should squeeze 2 in here. Maybe like angled completely weird. It will always be interesting because here's another 3, maybe 4 meters before the actual wall comes. This wall here is only in the assault, so you can get some ships in here, I believe, that are a bit longer than the actual door is. Right. Guardian. Oh yeah. Thanks for all the good input. The RSI salvage obviously will fit. That was supposed to look pretty small, but I would prefer to have a brake salvager for this. Even if it's a golem variant, just to have a nice matching ship. Also, looking at your lovely golden star next to it, I need to make some kind of my own icons for my supporters. Guardians, I think Guardian was the first channel member supporter I had. But these icons are still the YouTube ones. I need to make some. The reason I didn't so far is because I don't have my own logo yet. Nothing that would fit this channel. I haven't found anything, but I'm thinking about it a lot. Been looking at a few of my STLFers and the Corsair was scaled weird and yeah, that might be the older Corsair, and I'm not even sure, maybe on the website that still is the old Corsair holo model. You can just check if it's 46 meters long, then it's the old one, and the real one is 55. Also, I have information that there will be a surprise at Invictus, not gonna say what. Don't come in here with your teasers. In fact, no, it's absolutely fair that you don't drop that here, but maybe you can hit me up on Discord and give me the secret surprise. Maybe that will help me with future videos. That would be nice. That would be your choice, Chronic Q, but I would appreciate some hints. We also have the Future SI Starter Salvager. Yeah, we just talked about that. That will fit. DK Play, if you haven't heard about that, that was in Inside Star Citizen, I don't know, 8 weeks ago? Something like that. It's not too long ago. I can't remember which name of the episode was, but that looked pretty interesting, even though it was not that far along. With 2, you will have nowhere to put the mining mix. Yeah, that's true. But you can always put the mining bags in the prisoner compartment. Galaxy plus Golem would probably be a much better combo. That's interesting. Is the Galaxy Golem a better combo or the Ironclad Golem? I can already tell you that this will fit a lot more golems, and the Galaxy will have a refinery on board. I think it might both be valuable. I think it might both be valuable to have a handful of salvaging going on in the Galaxy and refine it yourself. But at the same time, it will be amazing to have 6 golems in here, get a lot of stuff, and then drive off to refine it. That might both work out nicely. If you've got a big enough crew to get so many golems along in your Ironclad, you can probably afford to bring along a refinery ship too. Agree, but we don't have one yet. So I'm specifically talking about when these two come out, or if these two would come out tomorrow. Okay, now we absolutely have to try those tiny furies. Go. There's our Fury. And that again is the in-game model, so it's a bit slower. That's the bad news. The good news is the measurements are exact. In other bad news, my blender crashed. Not maybe. No, there we go. It just takes time. It needs a few more seconds to load in all the textures. Let's just let it cook for a second there. Misk expands, I actually don't really have any good feel for how what that actually fit. I kind of forgot about that. If the Ironclad comes out, and I'm not going to continue this project, I think I might at least have a quick look at the expanse to see how that compares to the Galaxy. Okay, I think we can already say it's going to be quite a few. I can't place many of them like I did with the boxes because the model is so complex. I'm going to make a box and then we have to assume those are all. That work. Okay, so please assume with me that this is a Fury. And then we can assume that this fits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the assault. 9, 10, 11. That's my wall. Where is my wall? Yeah, okay, so one less. 10. 10 of them next to each other. And if we want to completely max it out, it's not 4. It's only 3 of them, unfortunately, lengthwise. Maybe if we churn them differently and stack it a bit more efficient, we can get a handful more in here, but we can't get 4 rows in. Well, we might, because I said it's angled here, so maybe if you park them the other way around. I mean, what does it matter? We don't need 40 of these, right? But we can completely easily fit in 20. And we could also, no, we could actually easily fit in 30 and have some walking room in between. So let's say realistically 20. But that would be fun. Fun at least. Not sure if it's going to be useful. Zero. This is the carrier we're gonna get by the end of the year. You don't know that, I don't know that, we don't know that. This is the Ironclad that might come out in just 2 weeks. Or it might come out next year. We don't know. There's no confirmation. And also no leaks right now. There are some information bits floating around, but as far as I know, nothing concrete. It's quite cool with the swarm, but at the same time, how effective would that be? I have never seen, actually, I've never seen something trying to have like 30, 40, 50 of them against a Polaris. Has anyone ever tried that? How fast these will be picked out the air. Okay, if you take the rocket version, can it actually do some damage? I don't know. I don't have a number for that. They did say they're gonna launch Ironclad this year, last CitizenCon. They did not. No, they said they are currently working on it. And I think they said they are aiming to have it next year, but they did not confirm anything as far as I'm aware. I also think that the biggest problem of so many Furies will be the servers, but trying it once will be quite fun. I think it would be a lot cooler to have like 4 reasonably well working fighters in here. Maybe 4 Buccaneers. I think I only was able to fit 3, but maybe you can cram 4 in. And if we're still talking about if it comes out this Invictus, if not coming out this Invictus, then it will be weird having this at IE, because assumably the Polaris, so the Perseus will also be ready by IE, and we can't have two big ships. So it's all a bit weird right now. I'm more excited. Guardian's more excited about the Ironclad helping with the Kraken. Yeah, he got me a pretty nice question in on YouTube, and that is how many assets of the Ironclad will actually be reusable for the Kraken, or in other words, how much work this actually takes off the Kraken. And I think I can only answer that when we have a final model, or at least a new we get a new teaser for the final model. I don't know, but I will definitely look into that. That's super interesting. That said, I have just looked at the Kraken for potentially doing another video like this. It's so big. So I'm... On my first look, I would have said nothing of the... It's so big that doing this Ironclad is like... What is the saying in English? We have a saying, it's like a drop of water on a hot stone. So saying it's so small that it doesn't make a difference. I'm not sure if there's an English saying for that, but that's what I'm trying to say. Do you want to open your space shopping mall? Fair enough. Absolutely. Does the Kraken use the same command module? I don't... As far as I know, the Kraken has no command module. I think the command center of the Kraken is fixed and also a lot bigger than the module that we have for this and for the Caterpillar. Drop in the ocean, that's what you say in English, right? Let's do some more work. Or actually, do I have that mole? Mule, not mole. No, unfortunately I don't. That would be helpful. You think the Kraken will be the first Drake ship with escape pods? I don't know. I haven't heard about escape pods in quite a while. Let's do one more thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up. As I said, I have to make a shorter one today. For can't breathe reasons, because those trees are doing their thing again. I want to have another look at it from the inside. It's a good thing for the end, I think. So, I'm sorry, it's a bit flickery and all, and there's stuff in the way, but still, I think it's always amazing to have a look from the first-person view to see how big this actually is, because you forget when you just look at it from orbiting around the ship. So this is the little walkway on the side of the ship. And if we go into that door, I have built this walkway here. And another door, and then we are already close to the hangar. So now we're back in the hangar. There's some kind of elevator or something here. There's a wall here. So this is about the size of the room that you will get. Again, this wall is from the assault. I'm so sorry about the reground. Of walking through this crap, that's just nice feeling of scale in this hangar. Sorry about the flickering, sorry about it looks a bit laggy on my OBS side, I'm not sure if that really is but I would not be surprised if he's currently struggling with that. Let me get to the last questions, and then, as I said, I'm going to... Oh, I'm getting an error? Oh no. Is my stream breaking? I think I just got some buffering because of the rendering I did. I hope it's working again for you. Interesting. Please let me know if it works again now, but if not, then I know what I'm... Okay, then I know what I can't do in the future. This might be a bit too much. Sorry. Let me get to the last questions and then I'll have to leave you. Unfortunately, I'll do another one next week, and then at IE, again, I'm going to miss the first 2 days because I'm away. And then depending on how cool the ships will be that come out, I might be here all day long, every day, we'll see. They keep putting escape pods prominently on new ships. Might be in Squadron 42 storytelling. Haven't we... We did actually see some escape pods in the Squadron 42 demo. Not sure if that means that they are working on getting them to work, or if they are just there for cinematic stuff, but I just mean I have not heard about them talking, having them in Star Citizen for quite a while. Do you think they released the Idris early or hold it until after Squadron 42 as they have mentioned in the past? I'm not sure. I thought about that a lot in the last 2 days. We also looked at the Idris earlier and found that the textures are pretty terrible. they are completely... The details are completely not aligning perfectly. Like, all the dirt and stuff, it looks completely temporary. So we were not even sure if that is the final thing, or if it's just a placeholder, or if it's just not well made. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to release it in this state. My best theory was that they wanted to have the Perseus for this Invictus for a tour. Couldn't finish it, and so they just needed something and took the Idris. So I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think they will release it for players in the next few weeks. But that's just my feeling. But I also don't think they will necessarily stick to their word and wait until Squadron 42 is out. I think if they are done with the Idris, they might just give it to us sooner. Can't wait to hand load all that 3000 SCU cargo. We just checked, it's only 1500. Are you using vanilla Blender tools, or are there any modeling plugins that you find helpful? I mostly use vanilla Blender. And that was a decision I made because I do a lot of Blender works on the go or at university, or where I don't have my PC and my plugins, so I always hate to rely on plugins. If I can, if the workaround is not too bad, I'm trying to stick with not using plugins. When it comes to booleans, you kind of have to use one, but other than that, I try to stick to the vanilla version where I can. And so especially for modeling, for this hard surface stuff here, I'm happy with the base functionality. Looks insane. Think about the amounts of money you get. This is, we talked about earlier, it's pretty much exactly half of... No, it's not half, sorry. If that had one more row on the top, so right now it has 1500 SCU, if it had another row on top, that would be 2300, and that would be half of the hull C. So in other words, this is a third of the hull C. So you can calculate how much money that will give you. All day, you say? Yeah, I said all day. When the what was it? When the Paladin came out. The second it came out, I just started Blender, started OBS, and then just sat here for the next 6 or 8 hours building the interior with people watching. That was quite fun, so I might do the same, depending on if they have anything interesting at IE. We'll see. It's a shame that I missed the first 2 days, and the first 2 days will surely be when the Asgard comes out. So maybe there won't not be nothing. Maybe there's nothing to do for me. We'll see. I bet Idris will be out around IE. With the state it's in right now, it's definitely more. It looks like it needs some more time. Out of curiosity, does your model match the cargo dimension posted in FAQ? Let's check. If you, I don't know when you. I don't know if that is just a question about the FAQ, or if you don't know how I built this. This is pretty accurate to the drawing. This one here, as you can see. I built it based on that, so it is very accurate. But let's look at the FAQ. Can you ask the assault line again? Yep. The assault line ends with the cargo grid, pretty much. But still the assault has a smaller cargo grid for some reason, so technically it should fit the same amount of boxes, but I assume the grid is just smaller. Where is that part about the size? Oh, here's something we speculated about last week. There is no air shield at the top of the cargo bay. Once opened, it vents to the void of space, and care must be taken in the scenarios listed. So you will definitely need suits and helmets working in here in space. Can you help me out? Where did you find the size things? Oh, I got it. Can the Ironclad be used as a mini carrier, and what is the biggest ship that could fit through the retractable roof? However, the cargo bay is designed for Wargometrios? What does it mean? Something's wrong with the font in that. Okay, that was a font issue. Sorry. The cargo bay is designed for cargometrics, so it doesn't conform to standardized hangar dimensions, with the current maximum dimensions being 40 by 21 by 7.5 meters. Bear in mind the roof does not retract over the full volume, limiting the maximum length. Let's check if that fits what I have here. One would be the width, 40 would be the length, and 7.5 would be the height. So as you can see, my boxes stick out of that box by like, I don't know, less than half a meter, so it's not too far off. Maybe they come in a bit more. And lengthwise, I have not put in the wall here, so but it definitely is pretty close. Yeah, actually this could just mean that the boxes go in a little further. That would then mean that they don't intersect with the catwalk. That makes a lot more sense like that. But the reason I put it there is that in the image they are quite far out. But this already worried me. Or I already said it's weird because these boxes are not 32 SEU boxes. They are a bit bigger than the right boxes. I think this is just some old assets they used. Weird. I think the cargo grids are likely going to be changed before release on the Ironclad. In what way? You think the placement or the size? Because I think the placement is pretty perfect. Oh yeah, thank you for posting the dimensions. If it's 21 meters wide, you have exactly 1 meter to walk. I think that's not too bad. Well, but if I looked at the image, it's a tiny bit more than 20 meters, so maybe they just rounded that and maybe it's 21.5 or 22. I think the question was about ships. So maybe it is a bit wider on the bottom and you can put these a bit underneath the catwalks like I had it in the beginning. But to answer their questions, you can't land in anything in here that is wider than 21 meters because that is the distance between the catwalks. That might be. Unless the idea is they use the outer walkways to traverse the ship. The outer walkways? No, you can use the inner walkways. You can use the inner walkways here, and you can also still walk here, even with their measurements. Wow, you're live. Yes, I'm live, but not for long because I can't breathe because I have some... What is it called? Air. The stuff from the trees that makes you like you... Hay fever, sorry. Can't breathe properly. Apparently also can't think properly. It's also from the hay fever. But I will be live next week at the same time, hopefully for longer, and then more around IE. Are you planning to make that walkable like the Galaxy? Good question. You mean walkable as in the demo that you can use for yourself? Depends. If it comes out this IE, then no, because that sorry, this Invictus, because that's in 2 weeks. That obviously does not make sense. I'm not even sure I can get a teaser of this out of this first part here because it's in 2 weeks. I'm not sure I can finish that. If they don't get it out at Invictus, then absolutely I will continue the series of building this, and then I will also update my subscriber scenes with the interior of this ship. That was the idea. Is it a one-to-one copy of the Ironclad, or how does it work? This is the holoviewer model. And so the exterior is absolutely the correct dimensions of what they have shown when they released it. So can still change a bit, but I don't think it will that much. And then the interior, I built that based on... I can show that again. Based on these... this is pretty well aligned. This is relatively accurate, so by now we're guessing somewhere between half a meter, maybe a bit more than half a meter where I'm off, but it should still be pretty accurate, and you can see when I bring in my floors that they align pretty well with their floors here. So yeah, I rebuilt that what's inside and take some cues from the exterior that is the official one. I hope they have the walkways down the middle. Yeah, for sure. You can see that the boxes stand. I have put the boxes where they are in the image here. Even if mine are a tiny bit smaller. These are the in-game boxes. They are a touch bigger. Sorry, the in-game models, in-game SCU boxes are a tiny bit smaller than what they have here. So these are off, but they are what I assume at the right position, so at the side of the hangar. And then I just placed one on the other side, and that leaves you with a small walkway in the middle. That you can also see that in the images, that there is a tiny bit of a walkway in the middle that is 1 to 2 meters wide. So you can walk around. I don't think you can walk around the boxes. I think they are pretty much against the wall. You can't really see that here, but the wall is angled here anyways, and I think they go pretty much to the outside. You can't walk around them on the bottom, but you can walk between them, and you can walk above them on the catwalks. I think that's enough. That's... If there was no walkway in the middle, like on the Caterpillar, that would be super annoying, but I think this... I don't think you have to walk around them. I think from the middle is fair enough. Work. I want to see more and more of your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think the grid themselves could be bigger since the other ships get listed as unit chain. Also, you're thinking they will get more SCUs. I mean, I said that there's a bit more space. In the front, there's 1 or 2 more boxes that you could squeeze in there. In the back, there's maybe 3 boxes more you can squeeze in. Maybe 4. And then we even speculated that on the top you could squeeze 1 in. If not a 32 box, you can for sure squeeze in half. So like 1 SU boxes or the flatter, the 1x4 or something like that. But there won't be a grid for it. You're right, maybe they make it a bit bigger. But I think size-wise it makes a lot of sense where it is right now. A third of the hull C, that's quite a decent amount, I think. My dream is to do the same with the Kraken, but I stopped studying 3D modeling. I'm dreaming about doing the Kraken too, but I'm not sure if it's a nice dream or a nightmare. Because I just looked at the exterior again in official size and it's so massive, it's so incredibly big. But still, I would like to do that in the future. Allergies. Yeah, allergies, but hay fever is a bit more specific. We answered that. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for being here. I also watched your videos earlier, Guardian. That's also pretty helpful to me. I had no time to jump in game. But I looked at your stuff while preparing this. What software are you using? Jesus answered that. That's Blender. Yep. Certainly seems easier to model than the Starfarer. I'm not sure. The Starfarer has so many weird roundish elements that makes it a bit tricky for me. There's also supposed to be the armored storage area somewhere. Yep, that is on the top here in the front. It's pretty hard to see right now. But here you can see it's on the top floor in the front, in between the 2 turrets. That is the secured locker room. But if you got to that from the cargo, I'm pretty sure this still has no cargo grid. I think it's for smaller, like these mission boxes, black boxes and stuff like that. And also, I mean, they talked about having people or animals in there, so I don't think they will have cargo grids. Didn't even see the mules at the back. I'm not sure if there's 2 or if there's more. We'll find out next time, hopefully. Um, 400. Where do you get that number from? 412 SCU? What are you talking about this one, or I'm not sure, sorry. I think that's the remaining STU that got removed from the Ironclad base. Oh, no. So what you see in here is the base variant. And so these boxes are the base variant. The Assault try to visualize that. The assault has, can't remember, a few less, a few. Something like that. Even though they already align with the back wall of the switch back to the assault. Yeah, look at this. So here would this is the end, the wall of the assault, but I don't know, it looks like cargo. No, actually, I'm looking at these railings, but I don't think they necessarily mean where the cargo grids are. Anyway, cargo in the assault is only half of the cargo too. It's not until the very end. I find it is difficult to get even a single SCU box through the catwalk doorways to the caged cargo area. Agree, but there is a lift somewhere, I think. I can't remember where. It's not really visible in this image, but I think because I have already looked at the video with the where they showed the a lot more of the interior. I made some models based off that, and I think there was some kind of elevator somewhere in the front, but I can't remember right now. I'm going to check that out for the next episode. Maybe this here is a cargo, like a small box elevator, where this slides down and then you can walk in there. Something like that. I think there's an elevator in the front here somewhere. I love this sort of content. Shows how cool the community is. Everyone has their favorite ship. I agree. I think this is super fun. In the beginning, I just wanted to build, and then I never get to do that because there's so many nice ideas you have that will ultimately help me get. I mean, now I'm not sure if I'm going to make a tour of this if it comes out in 2 weeks, but the plan was to do a video like for the Galaxy. And if you go back to the very first Galaxy video, there were so many little things that I missed. Because I looked at it by myself, and with all the preparations we are doing right now, with all the questions you ask, I could now do a much more thorough video tour of this whenever I do. So I appreciate that very much too. And it's pretty much what got me into Star Citizen, watching the streams of Grim, basically mainly, looking at ship models, because I thought it was so cool that we not just play the game, but also work around it with the models and stuff. Goes out to that strut you said in your last stream. What is that? Yeah. Yeah, still not sure what that means about the cargo, where it ends, where the cargo grid ends. The wall is here, but the cargo grids must end earlier. Assault is an AC-130 pointing downward. I don't think so. I don't think it has enough firepower for that. I would have. This is a good thing to end the stream. When the Ironclad was announced, there were talks about a big Drake ship, and I was super excited. And then I saw the IC thumbnail on my phone. I decided to not watch it because I was at work, and I wanted to see it on a big screen when I got home. But I looked at that thumbnail of these massive engines of the thing, and I was super excited because what I expected was a big Drake warship that basically replaces the Idris as the pirate ship that we have in every single weird pirate or Xenothreat or any kind of mission that has bad guys. They all have Idrises, and I hate that because it just makes no sense. I mean, lore-wise, they found an explanation for it, but visually it's weird to always fight against UEE ships. And so I was hoping for something Idris-sized that would actually then fight against our Idrises. But even in the assault version, this has not nearly enough firepower. This is still a cargo ship with a tons of guns on it. And I was hoping that it has like massive cannons on the outside here. So, yeah, like a ship really, where you have like cannons on the outsides that then fire on your Idrises and just shoot it to pieces with massive ballistic guns. That would be nice. So I wanted a warship, and that's what I was hoping when we heard there's also an assault version, but then when they talked about it, it sounds more like a troop carrier with a little more firepower, but at the end of the day, it's still a cargo ship. That's my 5 cents. Base Ironclad has 1500 SCU, Ironclad Assault has 1100. Thanks for clearing that up again. We talked about it earlier, I didn't have the numbers in my head, but that's aligned with everything I just said. That means the Assault has... eight? Or 9? 9? Is it 9? Okay, that means the Assault has 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. That's the cargos the Assault version has. I want a Xi'an capital ship that is just horrifying UFO vibes. I want more Gattac ships. I have interested you into Blender, that's good. I always want to get people to do stuff instead of just consuming stuff. If you just started that, oh, feel free to get in touch if you... I mean, I'm no Blender expert myself, but if people want to get a first start and need a hand, then I'm always happy to help. Especially in these streams, you can always ask about Blender too. Again, I'm not the best person to ask, but maybe I'm the first to ask. How can they steal so many Idrises? I think there was an explanation. I think they sold them without weapons for civilian purpose, and then they rearmed them. I don't know, something like that. But it was a weak excuse for having UE ships everywhere, visually. Oh no. Yeah, literally the last comment. Israel is, well, I'm glad I made it. My power has been out for 24 hours after a storm. I'm sorry, but if you just made it, we're about to wrap this up, because I have to call it a day. Unfortunately, yep. Sorry, yeah, I'll call it a day. I'll try to be back. I'll try to be back with the Ironclad next week, and then after that we will already have more information if we get it this year, and then we see if I finish or continue this series or if I have to start something new. Either way, thank you very much. Please, if you get any more questions about specifically the Galaxy, but maybe also the Paladin, the Ironclad, or maybe the Kraken, then drop those under some of my last videos. Maybe under this one, that's also possible. So I can include them in the videos I do for Invictus. Alrighty, thank you for joining me. And thank you for watching, and see you on the verse.